Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Look, I told you guys in my last video that I wasn't lying this time when I said that I'd be back. Here I am. I'm back. Look at that. So I figured that since I'm here, back on YouTube now, it's probably a good time to go ahead and do another tour of my reptile room and just kind of give you guys an update on my animals and an update on my animal room in general. Now, if you're someone who is already familiar with me and my channel, you probably know that I have a lot of animals. And because I have a lot of animals, I actually have more than one animal room at the moment. I actually have about 3, to be completely honest. I have 2 reptile rooms, and then the third room is where my rabbits live, and then also my roommate's birds. So at least that animal room only has like not many animals in it, but yeah, I have 2 reptile rooms and then like the rabbit and bird room, so there's a lot. And since there's a lot of animals and multiple rooms, in this video today we're just going to focus on one of the rooms, and that is the room that I call the lizard lounge. So today we're gonna head over to my lizard lounge, we're gonna take a little tour around it, check out the animals, and yeah, just overall I'm gonna give you guys an update on my lizard lounge. In my last video I posted, which was my like official return back to YouTube, I also mentioned how I want to start sharing a little bit more about myself and my life. Before we go and we check out my lizard lounge, I wanted to give you guys a quick little tour of my bedroom also, just because over the past few months I've spent a lot of time just kind of making my bedroom a nice space for myself, and I really like how it turned out. There's a lot of fun little things in here that I want to show you guys, so let's go ahead and take a quick look around my bedroom, and then we'll head over to my lizard lounge and check out what's going on in there. Okay, so when you first walk into my bedroom, this is what you see. Here's just a quick little overview of the whole room here. So of course, right in front of us here we have myself. Hello everybody, welcome to my bedroom. This is my enclosure. So to the right over here, this is just my closet doors right here. So over next to my closet here, we have this lovely little cabinet that I got from IKEA recently, and I have it set up as like a fossil and mineral cabinet. So if I open it up here, this top shelf here is mostly all minerals. Down here, it's mostly all fossils with a few mineral rocks in the back, and then down on the very bottom, it's some more fossils. So yeah, this is one of my fossil and mineral cabinets. And on top of that cabinet here, I have one of my plants. I have this jar of fool's gold, which is also iron pyrite. There's a little candle there. Have this cute little monstera embroidery on the wall. And then over to the side of that, there's another door, and this actually leads to the ensuite bathroom, and we're just gonna ignore that for now because I didn't clean in there and it's a little bit of a mess. Then of course over here we have a full body length mirror. I use this to look at myself and get dressed in the morning. It's a nice thing to have. I got the mirror also from IKEA. Get a lot of stuff from IKEA. Up top here, there's just this little shelf. And now next to my mirror, I have just this little tiny like plant stand with my sad dying plant in it. I have this basket that has some blankets in it, and there's also a window in my room. I must say, it's quite hard to film this area because the light is just like washing everything out. This is the best I can do, I apologize. Let's move away from the window that's just washing everything out. So right over here I have my bed. It's a bed with a blanket and some pillows on it. This is where I sleep at night. Don't really know what else to say. It's a bed. Up on the wall here, I have this macrame hanger, and that's a little candle hanger holder thingy up there. Never actually used it, but it's there for decoration. And as you can see, I also have these like colored lights around the top of the room, and there is a section of the lights in the corner there that is broken, and for some reason that little section right there is just always red. It doesn't matter that the rest of these lights are all green, and it doesn't matter what color I set them to. This one up here is just always red. On the wall over here I have this poster tapestry thingy with some monstera leaves on it. I really like it. I think it's really cute. And then next to my bed down here I have just a kind of like a nightstand drawer set thing. You know, I keep some clothes in here. So on top of my nightstand over here I have this little box that has a couple more of my minerals and stuff in it. Over here I have this really cool owl print that I picked up at the last Reptile Expo I went to. I really like this print. I have another plant, a little candle, and then I normally just keep whatever book I'm currently reading on top of here as well. Down to the side of that we have my lovely garbage can. I know that's what you all came here to see. And then above my garbage can I have another fossil and mineral cabinet. This one is basically all just stuff that I've like found at the beach. I'm also trying to open this right now and I'm struggling. Anyways, there we go. So this is like all stuff that I found myself just exploring around the beaches, because I've done a lot of that over the past few months. I've done a lot of beach exploring and I've found a lot of really cool things. On top of that cabinet is where I keep all of my jewelry, and now this cabinet here is also really cool because it's very old and has been in my family for a very long time. I have my TV up on the wall, and if I'm being completely honest, I hardly ever use this. I have a nice big TV in the living room, and I don't know, I'm not really someone who watches like TV in bed a lot, but it is nice to have it. And then on top of this shelf I have another little mirror. Hello everybody. Hello. I have this little like monstera leaf statue, a speaker, this print over here, photo of me and my friend when we graduated high school, another plant, another candle, and then down below is where I keep most of my books that I'm not currently reading. This storage drawer literally just has lint rollers in it. When you have as many animals as I have, lint rollers are an essential. So there's my lint roller drawer. And this down here is where I keep all of my like camera and filming supplies. And then right over here, I feel like this kind of goes without saying, it's a desk. I have my laptop up here, I have my iPad there, some little storage boxes, of course I have all my storage drawers, chair, desk lamp, this calendar thing that I basically never use, another calendar up here that I basically never use, and then over here I just have this little like memory board, so have some cute little photos on here and just some other random little souvenirs like this from the time that I was a Titanic passenger, because in case you guys didn't know, I was definitely 100% a very real passenger on the Titanic. It was definitely not from the Titanic Museum. That's actually just a very real ticket from when I was a passenger on the Titanic. And then after my desk, we're right back at the door. So there you go. This is a look at Emma's enclosure. Okay, so now that you guys have taken a look at my bedroom, let's go ahead and head right next door here into my lizard room. When we first walk into my lizard room, this is the view that you are going to see. So one of the first enclosures you will generally notice in this room here is that of my emerald tree skinks. So they're currently in a 24 by 36 by 18 Exoterra, and I do just still have the 2 emerald tree skinks, so this works really nice for them. As you can see, I do have a lot of plants planted down here, and now where I did set this up somewhat more recently, a lot of the plants haven't grown in as much as I'd like them to yet, but I'm hoping a few months from now a lot of these plants will be much taller and have grown a lot more throughout the enclosure. Even with how it is right now, I really like how it turned out, and my tree skinks seem to really enjoy it as well. They're doing absolutely fantastic, and they're just such fun animals to own. I'm so glad I made the choice to get emerald tree skinks because they are truly just so much fun. And now below my tree skink enclosure, I do have these 4 enclosures as well. So this one over here is actually empty at the moment, but this one belongs to one of my animals that you guys have not met yet. You guys have not been introduced to him, and that would be my little gray banded king snake. Oh, he's coming out to say hello. Oh, he's so adorable. I love him so much. Over the past year that I've been gone from YouTube, I haven't really gotten many new animals at all. I'm pretty sure he's actually the only one that I've gotten since I last posted on YouTube, with the exception of a couple dart frogs, but yeah, he's probably one of the only animals that you guys haven't really been introduced to at all, and I gotta be totally honest, he doesn't have a name yet because I'm the worst. I'm terrible at naming my animals. I love him so much. He's such a fun snake, and I really need a name for him, so please give me some name suggestions for my little gray banded king snake over here. He's so pretty. I love him so much. So down on the bottom here, below my king snake, I do also have my curly hair tarantula, and I love her. She's so much fun. I have never really been too big into inverts and stuff, but I don't know, I just really, really love her. Here she is in her nice little enclosure here. And right next to my curly hair tarantula is where the iconic Sandwich resides. So for those of you who have been around on my channel for a decent amount of time now, I'm sure you guys all know and love Sandwich. He's been with me for almost 5 years now, and he is just an absolute icon, and I'm very happy to report that 5 years later, Sandwich is still thriving and he's living his best chubby frog life. So this here is Sandwich's humble abode. And again, like I said, I love Sandwich so much, and I'm sure many of you do as well. So thumbs up for Sandwich, everyone. Okay, so moving on from this little section, we now have like the biggest shelf in this room. As you guys can see, this shelf does span the entire length of this room. So down on the bottom, I do have 2 bin enclosures, and now those house some of my dart frogs, and now we'll talk a little bit more about those in the future because these are dart frogs that you guys have not met or seen before, and I do want to do a video just like solely dedicated to my new dart frogs, so just know there's some dart frogs in there. So right in this enclosure over here, we have my Leachianus gecko. She is still doing fantastic. And then next to her over here, we do have Zuko, who is a mountain horn dragon. And now sometimes he's always out like right in the front, really visible. And other times he's like hiding away in this enclosure, and I have no idea where he is right now. Oh, there he is. I just spotted him. He's hanging out on his background over there in between these leaves. Hello, Zuko. It'd be nice if my camera would focus. There we go. And so there is Zuko, the mountain horn dragon. I really want to get him in a setup that is like more aquatic. Right now he has like 2 separate water bowls in his enclosure. We have this one over there, and there's also one in the back of the enclosure. It's a bit harder to see, but it is back there with some plants growing out of it. So he does have 2 separate water areas, but I'd really like to get him in like a much more aquatic setup. I think he'd really, really like that. And then up on the top shelf here, we have 2 gecko enclosures. So over here, this is where all of my morning geckos live. And then in this one right here, we have my one Thacodactylus oscarabaprenorium. Don't ask me if I'm saying that correctly. It's an incredibly long name and it's in Latin, so that's what we're going with. Now let's take a look at this kind of main section of this shelf right here. So down on the bottom, this enclosure here, this longer one, it's actually empty at the moment. It is all set up, but yeah, there's nothing living in there, so that's not very exciting. This enclosure down here is where Fern, one of my African fat-tail geckos, lives. She is doing very, very well. She is one of my fat-tail geckos that has a neurologic condition, but despite that, she is doing really good. And now in the middle row here, I do have 2 other African fat-tail gecko enclosures. This one over here, I don't think you guys have actually met at all. I can't remember if I've showed her before on my channel, but I might not have. But over on this side here, we do have my African fat-tailed gecko Daisy, and now, right now you can only see a little bit of her tail sticking out, but she was my like OG African fat-tailed gecko. I've had her for almost 6 years now. I got her when I very first started my YouTube channel. So Daisy's been around since the very beginning. So again, for those of you who are familiar with my channel, you probably remember Daisy, and I'm happy to say that Daisy and her tail are doing very well. Up top here we have 2 gecko enclosures and a frog enclosure. So this enclosure right here belongs to Dorito, who is one of my crested geckos, and these geckos would be my pair of Chihuahua geckos. So I do have a male and a female that live in here together, and I'm very happy to say that they do really well together, and they are currently breeding for me. But Chihuahua geckos are just so much fun. I think as far as New Caledonia geckos go, they're definitely some of the more personable geckos. And one thing I also really like about these guys is they're out and about a lot. So what I mean by that is I see them out during the daytime very frequently. You know, as you can see, we have one right there, and then the other one, bit harder to see on camera, but she is just hanging out on the back of this snake plant. If I film through the glass on the side, you can kind of see her there a bit better, but I highly recommend getting a Chihuahua gecko if you're someone who's looking into pet geckos, and you know, especially looking at New Caledonia geckos. I also just realized that I completely skipped over my dart frogs right here when I was talking about this shelf, but as many of you guys probably know already, this is my pair of Dendrobates tinctorius azureus, Bob and Linda. This is where they live, so that's their nice little home right there. And now moving back up to this shelf because I got distracted, this is where Alfredo and Linguini, my wife's tree frogs, live. So this one right here that's hanging out on this piece of cork is Alfredo, and now Linguini is probably somewhere down inside of this tunnel right there. I find they like to hang out there a lot, so normally if I can't see one of them in the enclosure, I can always just assume they're down inside of this piece of cork. So hopefully you guys enjoy seeing Alfredo for now, but this is where Alfredo and Linguini live together. Oh, cute. Alfredo's jumping. Oh, he's climbing. Oh, we're going on a whole little adventure. Look at you go, Alfredo. Look at that. I love white tree frogs so much. Again, if you're someone who's considering getting a pet frog, highly recommend these guys. They are just the absolute best. They are so derpy, so much fun. They are just 10 out of 10 frogs. Definitely get some if you like frogs. Hello there. I love it when I'm just like in my reptile room and all of my animals start like poking their heads out to see what's going on. Oh, you're so cute. Hello, thank you for popping your head out. Okay, you can go back to sleep now. Goodbye. And you are also just so cute. I love you so much. You are such a good little snake. He needs a good name, so please help me out. So over here we have my 2 adult female Malaysian cat geckos. So we have Sadie and Sage. And then over in this enclosure here, we have my gargoyle gecko, Derek. And now for those of you who don't know, Derek is a lady gecko. I got Derek when she was just a teeny tiny little hatchling, so I had no idea if Derek was a boy or a girl. So I went with the name Derek, and then Derek turned out to be a girl. But thankfully for Derek and geckos in general, they don't really know what their name is, and as a result, they don't really care what their name is. So Derek has remained Derek, and Derek will always be Derek. She's like, if you didn't have any bugs for me, please just leave me alone. She's like, I only want the bugs, so please give me some bugs. And now down on this bottom shelf here, I do have another dart frog bin. So this is the bin that all of Bob and Linda's children live in. So these are all of my baby azureus. That little bin over there houses my Asian forest scorpion. And then this enclosure right down here is home to Pepper, who is one of my leopard geckos. Pepper is about 15 years old at this point, and Pepper does have some neurologic problems, so Pepper's setup here is pretty simple, but honestly I found this is just what works best for her. I've had Pepper in all sorts of different setups over the years. I've had her in everything from smaller, simplistic setups like this to really large naturalistic setups, and just as a result of her neurologic problems and just her health overall, this is what I found works best for her, so this is the kind of setup that I keep her in. But Pepper is a very, very special gecko to me. She's like one of the pets that I've had the longest out of all of the reptiles I have, so I'm very happy that she's still here, still doing so well, and I just love her so much. I mean, look at how cute she is. She's such a cute little gecko. So down on the bottom, I have 2 enclosures, and they belong to Pudge, who is my Colorado river toad, and then also to Willow, who is my children's python. And now she's gonna be getting an enclosure upgrade really soon because she's been in this enclosure for so long now, and she could definitely use a bigger one, so I'm really excited to get her upgraded. And then we have the almighty Pudge. I love Pudge so much. I think toads and frogs and stuff are just so fun, but I don't know, there's just something about toads especially that is like extra funny. Pudge here is just a 10 out of 10 toad, and I mean just a 10 out of 10 animal in general. I mean, look at that. What is there not to love? How could you not love a toad? Pudge, I love you. You're so fun. I'm so happy to have you as a pet. I'm gonna give you a little boop. Boop. And Willow here is all curled up inside of this piece of cork bark, so we don't get the best look at her, but you can see a little bit of her body there. There's Willow, everybody. And now for the most exciting thing in this room right here, everybody. See, we got a row of empty terrariums right here. I know, so exciting. It's just beyond incredible. Basically, these are going to be enclosures for some of my baby cat geckos, my baby Chihuahua geckos. Some of the baby animals that I still have from last year will be getting upgraded into these enclosures, and then the other baby enclosures that they're currently living in will be reserved for the new baby animals to come. And now up on the very top shelf here, we do have 4 more Exoterras. So over here we have Rinley, one of my crested geckos. Over here we do have 2 of my baby female cat geckos, and then these last 2 enclosures right here are for my chameleon geckos. I wonder if any of my geckos are out right now. Let's see if I can find any chameleon geckos. Oh, there we go. There's one right there. So that little guy right there is Pluto. He's hanging out, saying hello. Hello, Pluto. Very happy to report that all of my chameleon geckos are doing really well. And similar to my Chihuahua geckos, I have just started getting eggs from these guys again, so baby chameleon geckos will be coming soon. And then as I mentioned, this one here does house 2 of my baby female cat geckos, although they're not really babies anymore. These guys here were 2021 babies, so they're more like subadults at this point. These are 2 of mine that I decided to hold back to be future breeders for me as well. So I have my 2 females over there, and then I have 2 females in here as well, which I will be breeding in the future, so I'm really excited about that. Okay, now let's talk about the babies. So I mentioned earlier how I do have some baby geckos, so in these enclosures here, just in these little critter keeper setups, I do have a couple cat geckos, I do have some chameleon geckos in these smaller ones here, and I do also have 2 baby Chihuahua geckos. So these are the ones that I was referring to that will be moving into these enclosures here soon. So I'll likely have 2 Chihuahua setups and then 2 male cat gecko setups. All of the babies I have right now are doing really well. I have sold quite a few baby cat geckos, so I don't have that many left. Most of the ones that I do have now at this point are just my holdback geckos, with exception of one of them that is actually going to one of my friends next week. And now for the most exciting thing in this room. Right on this table here, I have some of my fruit fly cultures. Woo, so exciting. So of course, this is what I feed some of the animals like my dart frogs and my morning geckos. Fruit flies, yay. And now moving on from the little baby closet over there, this leads us to kind of the last part of the room that I have to show you guys, and gotta be completely honest, it might not be the most exciting part of the room because these are all also empty enclosures with the exception of my tailless whip scorpion who lives down in this bottom enclosure here, but as you can see, this enclosure is empty, and this enclosure is empty, and this enclosure here is also empty. Super exciting, I know. But if you're wondering what I'm going to be doing with these empty enclosures, they are going to be for the dart frogs I was talking about earlier. So, you know, I mentioned I do have some new dart frogs that I wanted to show you guys in another video, and these are going to be the enclosures for them. So the frogs that are in this bin right here will be going into this enclosure when it's complete, and then the frogs in the other bin right there will be going into that enclosure when it's complete. So both of these are future dart frog setups, and now this bottom one down here, I'm honestly not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with this one yet. I might use this for my children's python, but realistically, I'd like to get her something a bit bigger, so yeah, I don't know. For now, this is just an empty enclosure, but I'm sure someday very soon it will have some kind of animal living in it. And then up here, I do also have some of my plants. So I used to have a much larger plant collection, but last summer when I did my internship at the wildlife rehab, I was just so busy, and as a result, I didn't have as much time for my plants as I wish I did, and I did end up losing quite a few of my plants. I did manage to keep some of them around, and thankfully I managed to keep some of my more expensive plants around. And then I do also have these 2 terrariums that I set up, and I do also just want to point out that that is not an escaped tarantula, that is a molt over there, so don't need to worry that I have a tarantula on the loose, just a molt. And the very last animal enclosure that I have in here to show off is my Vietnamese mossy frog enclosures. So as you can see, the bottom of it is just completely full of water. It's a nice aquatic setup down here, and then I have lots of plants and branches that come out of the water so that my frog can climb out, and of course there is also this 3D background, so there's plenty of room for my frog to be in or out of the water, whatever he chooses, but I will say he does spend the majority of his time in the water. You can see him hanging out in the back right there. So this over here, that is Bert, my Vietnamese mossy frog. And then of course, in addition to the animals in this room, I do also just have some artwork. So I did paint basically all of the paintings in here. This framed one over there, that's a print, so I didn't paint that one, but I painted the octopus tentacles, I painted the sea turtle, and I painted that monstera leaf over here. So I like to have my artwork in here on display. I don't paint super frequently, but I do really enjoy it when I do. So yeah, these are few of my paintings. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing them. So there you guys go. There is a look around my lizard lounge as well as a look around my bedroom. So like I said in my last video, I didn't stop posting on YouTube because I got rid of all of my animals or anything. As you can see, they are all still here. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I do have a whole other reptile room. So any of the reptiles that you didn't see in this room here, here. They're probably all just in the other reptile room, which I promise we will check out in another video in the future. When I do that video, I'll also show you the rabbit and bird room, so I promise there will be more room tours to come. I do also want to just say a quick thank you to everyone who showed support on my last video, which was, you know, my return video back to YouTube. All of the lovely comments you guys left and everyone who just viewed or liked that video, regardless of what you did, I just really appreciate anyone who showed support for me and my channel in any type of way. So thank you guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, it would mean a lot to me if you gave it a big thumbs up. Also, if you left a comment down below, it really helps me out. And like I said earlier, I need name suggestions for my gray banded king snake, so comment some name suggestions down below. I'd really appreciate that. Also, be sure to check out all of my social medias. It will all be down in the description below, and I would absolutely love to have you guys over there, so make sure you do that. Thank you all so much for watching, and like I said last time, I promise I will see you all in my next video.